Hi everyone, I'm Paolo Vidali and I'm the co-founder and CEO of SuperBuilt, which is a talent agency for programmers specializing in web and Shopify development. So as you might know, Shopify is hosting their developer conference in a few weeks on July 21st and 22nd. And here's what I'm excited about for .dev. So ever since I went to my first Shopify partner conference in San Francisco in 2016, been able to connect with really amazing people who are part of the Shopify ecosystem. And mostly, in my case, other agency owners, but also independent developers, designers, and app developers. And sometimes even some entrepreneurs, project managers, you name it. So in recent years, the Shopify conference has really focused more on developers. And it's always been a developer-led company like ours. They have a programmer as CEO also, and I think that makes a big difference in the culture and how a company is run. Shopify is also now headquartered in Toronto, so it just brings a very international perspective with people from dozens of different countries, all working on similar projects in their own ways. So given the opportunity to really convene and talk shop and realize that a lot of the challenges we're facing on the scene and are really commonalities, and we can share cool ways of doing things on the platform, whether that's a workaround, innovation, something inspiring, or a cool project with cool client work, or something that they were challenged to build, they're able to figure out, like we can all share that together. And it becomes a really great community building event as much as a kind of place for press releases and announcements and different feature releases. So as part of that, .dev is a great opportunity to learn, but it's also one of the only times you'll probably have during the year as a developer to talk shop with actual Shopify employees, their product leads, their developers, their QA testers, and others. And all kinds of people are there from Shopify, so you get to actually say, hey, what's the deal with this feature? I was trying to use it or do this with it, and it didn't seem like it was working. Is that something that's on the roadmap? Is that something that's going to be in the plans? Is that supposed to happen? Or I would love it if you're able to add this or do this, because what we're trying to do is build it in this way. And granted, since becoming a public company, Shopify has been much more tight-lipped and vague about when product announcements are going to happen, when releases are going to happen, etc. Because apparently that's part of being a public company. If you set certain expectations about product and then you can't deliver, that could affect stock performance and so on. And they don't want to do that. In general, when you're in the room with someone who works at an organization as big as that, and you get some headway or you can get some feedback through to them, so that there's more empathy for the power user of the platform, the partners of the platform, the experts of the platform, etc., then that's just a really great opportunity to make a difference. And now at SuperBuilt, one of the things I'm most excited about is being able to meet with other folks in the Shopify world who need help trying to find developers, trying to find dev teams, etc. And we might be in a position to actually help them. And so it feels great to be able to give back in a certain way. I think there's definitely certain types of conferences where it's more about bragging rights going on. And there are other places where you can generally connect with people and say, oh, no, I know how to fix your problem, or I've seen that before, or I know how to help you out. Why don't we work together? Or just drop me an email, I'll send you the information, right? And that's a large part of what .dev is as well. I love in conferences what's called the hallway track, which is, in other words, this sort of gap in sessions where the real magic happens. You just get to meet people as people. Maybe you're in line for snacks and you wouldn't have bumped into this person otherwise, and you can just meet and understand folks where they're at on a more personal level, and that counts for a lot in doing business when we're in this digital global world where a lot of what we're doing, if not everything, is remote and on video and so forth. You're just not going to be able to meet and connect with people in that way otherwise. And I always like to remind junior folks on the team or other folks who haven't been to a lot of conferences, it's not really about talking about yourself. You're not pitching yourself. That's not what networking is. It's about listening and learning, and if possible, being a resource or an inspiration to someone. And it's a great bonus if you get to share something too that you're proud about, and you can get some feedback or validation on that. But as someone who's senior in the industry, it's more exciting to me to hear from people who are just starting their careers and figuring out what they're up to, what they're passionate about, what they've learned so far, and be able to point them in the right direction or give them some encouragement. And that's what giving back in a community is, whether that's a tech community or not. And so if you happen to be going to .dev, look me up, drop me a line at wearesuperbuilt.com before you go, and I'd be happy to grab coffee or otherwise, and hope to see you there.